chosen one. Listen, not because you have time, but because what is being said now will not pass through this hour twice. God is doing something today that he has never done, not in any generation that came before, not through any name written in the books you were taught to revere. And the reason, the singular, specific, unrepeatable reason, is the configuration of breath and longing and unwitnessed faithfulness that has been quietly arranged inside your one life. He has been waiting for someone whose tenderness had survived. Many did not survive their waiting. You did. You bent. You did not harden. You questioned. You kept asking. That is the qualification. Not certainty, not polish. The one who almost gave up last week is the one he chose. There is a door in his hand that no key has ever fit, until now. You are the key. And the impossible is not arriving to overwhelm you. It is arriving exactly the right size, measured to your particular grain, cut to fit no other life. So stay here. The room around you is more sacred than it appears. He has just walked in. What is being said in this hour is not motivation, it is recognition. By the end of this message, you will know exactly why this season has been unlike anything you have ever walked through. You will be handed a specific practice, 7 words long, 21 days deep, to hold what is being formed in you. And there will be a sealing in stillness that names what God is doing through your one life and makes it unshakable. Stay until the final breath. Dawn does not announce itself to the sleeping world. It begins as a thinning of the dark before any voice names what is happening. That is what is happening inside you right now. The dark has not been dismantled with fanfare. It has been thinning, slowly, quietly, for longer than you realized. The years that no one watched, the prayers that seemed to fall into a room with no echo, the nights you cried so quietly that even the people sleeping in the next room did not know. He saw all of it. Not the way you saw it, the way it actually was. You have been carrying something specific, not a generic weight, not a wound that matches the templates the world handed you. And because no one named it correctly, you began to wonder if you were imagining it. You were not. The reason no one in your life has had the eyes to see it is that the eyes that could see it had not yet been given out until now. There is a kind of loneliness that comes from carrying an unnamed thing. It is heavier than ordinary loneliness because it cannot even be confessed. You cannot describe what is missing. You only know that something has been missing for a very long time, and that no relationship, no achievement, no rest has filled it. That ends here. Tonight, what has been unnamed gets a name. What is yours to receive in the next 40 minutes deserves to be named, so that staying with me through this hour becomes a deliberate choice and not a passive scroll. By the time we reach the final breath of this message, you will have received 3 layers of revelation that explain why this season has been unlike any other you have walked through. You will hear a word from the original Hebrew that no English translation has been able to carry, a single word that will reframe every year you ever called delay. You will meet 2 figures from sacred history whose stories were written quietly for the day you would find them. You will be given a practice, 7 words long, 21 days deep, that will mark the next chapter of your life. And there will be a final activation, a sealing that I am asking you to receive in stillness with me. None of this is rushed. None of this is small. Stay until the last breath. The hour does not give itself to those who leave early. What is being formed in you has already begun to make itself visible. Quiet patterns. Patterns you have probably noticed but did not have language for. Listen for them now. The first one is the way feelings have been arriving in you without permission. You will be in the middle of an ordinary moment, washing a dish, driving home from somewhere familiar, and a wave will pass through you that has no story attached. sometimes peace, sometimes sorrow, sometimes a conviction so strong you almost speak it aloud. This is not mood swing. This is your spirit surfacing what was buried so it can finally be released. Another is the way the rooms you used to sit in comfortably have become unbearable. The conversations that once filled you now drain you within 10 minutes. The places you used to belong to feel like costumes that no longer fit. You have not become difficult. Something in you has simply outgrown the smallness of where you were standing, and the body knows before the mind does. You have been mistaking this for becoming hard to please. He has been calling it becoming ready. There is also a quiet restlessness underneath everything you do. There is a thing you want to make, a thing you want to write down, a thing you want to say. You cannot name it yet, only that it is pressing up from underneath, like something alive in soil that has decided this is the season to break the surface. This is not anxiety. This is the assignment knocking on the inside of the door. You have also been knowing things before they happen. A name comes to your mind, and within hours that person reaches out. You walk into a room and feel what is wrong before anyone speaks. You sense a decision is about to be made about you, and the email arrives 3 days later. This is not coincidence. Accumulating. This is the gift you suppressed in childhood, waking back up because the season requires it. And the timing. The convergence of timing, the right person appearing in the exact week you needed them, the door opening in the precise hour you finally stopped trying to force it. You are not making this up. The architecture beneath your life is shifting, and the seams are showing on purpose. A pause here, just for one breath. I want to acknowledge something simple. You have been listening for several minutes already, and your attention has not wandered. That is not a small thing. The world is loud. Your time is finite. The fact that you are still here means something specific is being recognized between us, not by accident. Just breathe once, slowly. There is no instruction in this breath, no technique to perform. Just notice that you are here, that something inside you has chosen to stay, and that what comes next is being said because of who you are, not in spite of it. There are 3 things being formed in you right now that have no historical precedent. 3 layers of truth that are about to be opened, one inside the other, until you arrive at the deepest one. The first is what I am about to give you next. It is the smallest of the 3, and yet it will already begin to undo the framework you have been using to measure your own life. What you have been calling delay, he has been calling exactness. Hear that again. What you have been calling delay, he has been calling exactness. The years you thought were wasted were not wasted. They were calibration. The doors that closed were not punishment. They were redirection of a kind so precise, no human strategy could have produced it. The relationships that did not last were not failures. They were the wrong shape for what you are about to carry, and any one of them, kept too long, would have prevented this hour from being possible. Long ago there was a woman named Hannah, whose only wound was the silence of her own womb. She wept in the temple so deeply that the priest watching her thought she was drunk. She had no children, no inheritance to give the world, no answer to the question every other woman around her had already received. And what she did not know, in the years of her weeping, was that the child she would eventually carry was not just a child. It was a prophet whose voice would change the direction of an entire nation. The waiting was not denial. The waiting was the time it took for her tenderness to be preserved at exactly the right intensity, so that what she finally carried could be carried without bitterness corroding it from within. You are her, not in metaphor, in structure. The slowness of your season is not failure. It is the time required for something this rare to be cut to its proper grain. If you had received what you asked for 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you would have received it as the version of yourself who could not yet hold it. The version of you that exists now, the one that has been bent and not broken, questioned and not silenced, postponed and not abandoned, is the only version capable of carrying what is about to arrive. Slowness is not your enemy. Slowness is the apprenticeship. But this is only the surface. The truth I just gave you is the small one, the first of three. What waits beneath it will undo every framework you have used to measure your life. What waits beneath it has a name in a language older than English, and once you hear that name spoken, you will not be able to call your past what you used to call it. What waited beneath that first truth is older than the language we have for it. There is a name beneath the dawn, and it has been listening for yours. What you have just heard about delay being exactness is true, but it is not the deepest layer of what is happening inside you. There is a second truth, and the second truth is the one that begins to expose why this season has felt like nothing else you have ever lived through. The first revelation tells you why the slowness was not betrayal. The second revelation tells you what the slowness was preparing. It was not preparing an improvement. That is the part most teachers will never name correctly, because most teachers are still inside the framework of upgrade. They speak of the next version of you, the better version, the healed version, the breakthrough version, as if what God is doing in this hour is putting you through a refinement that polishes what already existed. He is not polishing, he is not improving, he is not editing. He is doing something the world does not have words for in its English vocabulary. There is a word for it in the original Hebrew, and that word is older than every translation that has come after it. And once you hear it, you will not be able to unhear how it changes everything you have been told about who you are becoming. What is being worked into you in the wilderness years deserves to be seen first. The word will arrive when its preparation is complete. There are three things that have been formed in you that no one, including you, was able to see while it was happening. The first thing being formed was the preservation of your tenderness. While the world hardened around you, while the people you trusted disappointed you, while the systems you depended on failed, something inside you was being protected from becoming what was happening to you. It will have felt like weakness. It will have felt like being naive, like being too soft for a hard world. Do not interpret it as that. It was not weakness. It was the only material the assignment could be built out of, being kept intact at the cost of everything else. The trusting in you that survived was not a flaw. It was the qualification. The second thing being formed was the training of your discernment in silence. The years where you could not hear clearly, where you wondered if you were even being spoken to, were not abandonment. They were the years where the voice of God was being separated in your hearing from the voice of fear, the voice of the crowd, and the voice of your own ambition. You will have called it dryness. You will have called it dark night. Do not interpret it as God leaving. He was teaching you to recognize him without the comfort of obvious signs, so that when he finally speaks the unprecedented thing, you will know it is him and not your own hope filling in the blanks. The third thing being formed was the forging of exactness. Not patience, that is too small a word for what was happening in you. Exactness. The ability to wait without bending the timeline, without forcing, without manufacturing your own version of the answer, just to relieve the ache. You will have felt this as paralysis, as being stuck. Do not interpret it as that. The waiting was the apprenticeship in trust, and trust at this depth cannot be taught any other way. The word, then. In the prophet Isaiah, there is a sentence God speaks to a people who have grown convinced that their best season is behind them. He says, pay attention to the verbs. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? The word translated as new in that sentence is not what you think it is. In English, the word new has been worn out by usage. It can mean newer than what came before. It can mean fresh out of the box. It can mean the latest model. None of those carry the weight of what the original Hebrew is saying. The Hebrew word is chadash, and chadash does not just mean new in time. It means never previously existing. It means fresh from the origin source. It means a thing that has no precedent, because the precedent could not have produced it. It is the word used when something arrives that the existing categories cannot contain. Hear what that does to the sentence. He is not saying, I am giving you an upgraded version of what you had before. He is saying, what I am doing now has never been done in any age. It is not improved. It is unprecedented. That is the truth waiting beneath the first one. What is being formed in you is chadash. It is not the better version of who you used to be. It is something the categories of your past life cannot describe, and the people who only know you by the categories of your past life will not be able to recognize at first. They will need time. The thing being released through you has no template, and you are the first life it is being released through. Long after Hannah, in another small town, in another woman who had no platform and no inheritance and no reason in the world to be the one chosen, an angel arrived at the door of a teenager named Mary. He told her she would carry something that had never been carried before, not by any other woman, in any other generation, since the world began. What is striking about Mary is what qualified her. It was not her education. It was not her social position. It was not even her certainty about how the thing would happen. The qualification was a single sentence. She finally spoke. Let it be unto me, according to your word. That is the qualification, not capability, consent. Hear me. The thing being formed inside you does not require you to figure out how it will happen. It does not require you to have a 5-year strategy. It does not require you to know what to call it. It requires the agreement of your one life to be the place where Chadash arrives. This season is full of preparation that you cannot see from inside it. It is full of architecture being built underground. It is full of divine newness that has no analog anywhere in your past and no template waiting in the future to copy from. But even this is not the deepest layer. There is one more truth waiting beneath this one, and when it is named, every assumption you ever made about why you, why now, why this configuration of life, every framework you use to measure your assignment will not survive contact with it. Stay here for one breath with me. What you have just heard is not small. Most messages do not name the unnamed thing inside their listeners. Most messages stay on the surface because the surface is easier to package and easier to sell. The fact that you have stayed through this depth, through these revelations, through the slowness of how I am giving them to you, that is not nothing. That is recognition meeting its mirror. Just breathe once, and let what has landed continue settling. What I am about to name in the next breath, you should hear directly, without veils, without me building mystery just to sell something to you at the end of the hour. Truth honors truth. Let what is real be named before another minute passes. There is a reason I have been speaking to you about the years that dimmed something inside you, about the silencing of the child who once lived in this body without fear, about the tightness that has lived in the background of your decisions for as long as you can remember. What dimmed has a name. What hijacked your reception of what was already promised has a name too. They are two separate things. They require two separate restorations. The waking of the child first, the opening of the channel second. That is the order. The order matters. There is a tool that exists developed by a researcher named Dr. Robert Lake after 34 years of brain study, that addresses the first wave, the dimming of the child mind. It is called the Genius Song. There is a second tool developed by a researcher named Dr. Stephen Newton, who came up through Stanford, that addresses the second wave, the closing of the manifestation channel. It is called the wealth signal. The first restores, the second receives. They are not interchangeable. They are sequence-dependent: restoration first, reception second. Many of you watching right now have already felt your spirit pull toward what is being named. That pull is not coincidence. The doors are below this video, in the description, in the pinned comment. The path is there for those who already know. Stay for the rest of this message if you want context. But if your spirit has already spoken, the doors will not move. For now, let what was just named settle and follow the deeper current with me. There is more here than two tool names. The reason these tools exist for you specifically is the layer waiting next, and that layer is the one that recontextualizes everything. Breathe once. Let what just landed settle into a place beneath words. The next truth comes from the same place, but it has waited the longest to be spoken. You have been asking the wrong question for a very long time. The question has been, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why am I the one who carries this? Why does my path look so different from everyone around me? Why has the timeline of my life refused to follow the shape of any timeline I was promised? Hear me. Why me has never been the right question. The right question is why now? And the answer to why now is the layer that recontextualizes every revelation that came before it. There is something that almost stopped this revelation from reaching you. It is not what you are imagining. It is not a force outside of you. It is something quieter, and it has been with you since you were small enough to still believe what you were told about yourself. It is the belief that you are not the kind of person this happens to. Let me say that more carefully. Somewhere deep inside, beneath all the spiritual language you have learned and all the affirmations you have practiced, there is a voice that has been quietly editing every truth as it arrives. The voice that says, yes, what he is saying is real, but probably not for me, probably for someone better, probably for someone with a cleaner past, probably for someone whose life looks more like a person who deserves this kind of unprecedented thing. That voice has been with you so long, it stopped sounding like an intruder. It started sounding like realism, like humility, like being grounded. It is not realism. It is not humility. It is the last barrier between you and the recognition of who you actually are. I want to give you something now, and I want you to receive it as if you were the only person watching this hour. Because in the way that matters, you are. You are allowed to be the one he chose. You are allowed to receive what your bloodline could not yet see. You are allowed to outgrow the small frame your past placed around your name. You are allowed to carry something no one in your family, no one in your friend group, no one in your history has carried before. You are allowed to be unprecedented without apologizing for it. You are allowed to stop shrinking the size of what God is doing through you to make other people more comfortable. And you do not owe anyone an explanation for becoming who you were always intended to be. The answer to why now begins to make sense once that voice is named and set down. Why now is not because you finally became worthy. Why now is not because you fixed enough things, healed enough wounds, prayed long enough, or finally arrived at some threshold of deservedness. The framework of deservedness is the wrong framework. It has always been the wrong framework. The kingdom does not run on deservedness. It runs on configuration. Why now is because the configuration of your specific life has finally come into alignment. The wilderness preserved the tenderness. The silence trained the discernment. The waiting forged the exactness. Your bloodline carried, in its bones, the prayers of people who never lived to see them answered, the places you have lived, the conversations you have endured, the losses you accepted without bitterness, the decisions you made when no one was watching to applaud them. All of it has assembled, in your one life, into a shape that has never existed in any other person before you. Hannah was the first carrier of a prophet whose voice would change a nation. Mary was the first carrier of an unprecedented birth in a small house in a town no one was watching. The pattern is consistent. The unprecedented act always required one specific life, with the exact shape capable of holding it. Not the most powerful life, not the most prominent life. The one whose configuration matched the assignment. You are the next carrier in that lineage of pattern, not because you are like Hannah, not because you are like Mary, because you are configured for what is being released now, and they were configured for what was being released then. The thread is the same. The thread is God uses the unprecedented life to release the unprecedented thing. Comparison cannot survive this truth. There is no other timeline to compare yours to, because there is no other configuration like yours. The race you thought you were behind in did not exist. You were never running someone else's track. What is being formed in you, and what is being released through you, has been waiting for the assembly of your particular life. And here is the part most people miss. The releasing of it is not automatic. There is a practice that the ones who have walked this kind of assignment before have all known, even if they use different language for it. It is the practice of putting language to what is being formed inside you before anyone else can see it. Witnessing it for yourself, in private, before asking the world to witness it for you. Most people skip this step. They wait for someone else to confirm what is being formed in them, and the confirmation never arrives in the form they expected. And they spend years feeling unwitnessed and assume that means they were not chosen. They were chosen. They simply skipped the practice that was meant to come first. Here is the practice. I am going to give it to you slowly. Take it seriously, because it is the difference between an assignment that breaks the surface and one that stays buried for another decade. Each morning, in private, before you check your phone, before you speak to anyone, before the day's noise has decided what you are worth, write one sentence. Exactly 7 words. No more. No fewer. The sentence must describe what God is forming through you, not what you want, not what you are afraid of. What is being formed? 7 words is small enough that you cannot hide behind explanation. It is large enough to carry the truth. The second part of the practice is the one most people resist, because it goes against the instinct of the modern world. Once the sentence is written, you speak it aloud, once, only once, and you speak it only into silence. Not to your spouse, not to your best friend, not to the comments section, not to the journal where you imagine future readers will find it, only into the silence of the room where you are. The reason is this. Words spoken to other people for confirmation lose their formation power. They become performances. They become things to defend. The word that is forming you must be witnessed first by you, in the presence of God, in the silence where ego has nothing to gain. Only then does it become structurally yours. The third part is patient, 21 days. Each morning, a new sentence or the same sentence, if it has not finished its work in you. After 21 days, you read the 7 sentences in order. The pattern that has emerged across those 21 days is the shape of the assignment. It will be specific, it will be undeniable, and it will not match what you would have predicted on day 1. This is the practice. 7 words, 21 days, spoken only into the silence. I want to tell you about a woman I will not name, because the privacy of the story matters more than the verification. She was 47. She worked as an information technology manager in a city she had not chosen. She had moved there because of a job, and the job had stayed, and life had stayed, and somewhere along the way, the question of what she was actually meant to do with her life had been quietly buried under the requirement of paying her mortgage. She had been praying the same prayer, silently, for 9 years. The prayer was not for healing. It was not for relationship. It was for the recognition of an assignment she could not name, but felt the shape of every time she sat down at her kitchen table at the end of a day. She had written in a notebook 6 years before privately, never shared, never even reread, by herself, a sentence describing what she sensed she was meant to build. She wrote it once and then closed the notebook, and the notebook had stayed in a drawer ever since. Last month, she received a phone call from a person she barely knew. The person was calling on behalf of a small organization in another state. They had been searching, the person said, for someone with a very specific combination of skills, intuition, and life experience to lead something they were starting. They described what they were looking for. The description matched, almost word for word, the sentence she had written 6 years earlier in the notebook no one had ever read. She did not believe in coincidences after that day. She had been writing her resume, in private, into the silence, into a notebook she kept hidden, and the call had come because the resume had been received by a place that did not need to read it on paper to know it had been written. The hidden notebook was the resume she never knew she was submitting. This is what is happening in you right now. The witness practice is not a productivity tool. It is the way the assignment becomes audible to the realm that arranges the calls. But the deepest layer of all of this, the layer that recontextualizes the witness, the wilderness, the configuration, the unprecedented act, all of it, that layer, has not been spoken yet. What I am about to give you in the next breath is the truth that all 3 revelations have been carrying. When you hear it clearly, you will not see your life the same way again. Stay with me. Breathe once. Wherever you are sitting, lying, driving, let one breath settle into the space beneath your decisions. What I am about to say is the truth all 3 revelations have been carrying, the way 3 notes carry a single chord that does not become audible until all 3 are sounding at once. The first revelation said your delay was exactness. The second revelation said, what is being formed in you is chadash, fresh from origin source, not improvement of what was. The third revelation said, why now, is because the configuration of your one specific life has assembled into a shape no other life has ever been. Hear them all together, and now hear what they have been pointing at all along. God is doing what he has never done before, because there has never been you before. Not in any generation that came before yours. Not under any of the names that history was taught to revere. Not in any age, any era, any chapter of time that has yet existed. He has been holding what he is doing in this exact season because the doing required the specific configuration of breath and tenderness and timing and unwitnessed faithfulness that you alone are. Hear it differently this time. You are not chosen for the impossible. You are the reason the impossible can finally happen. And in the same breath that just landed, hear what the Father is saying directly to you in this hour. I have never done this before, because there has never been you before. The waiting was not your fault. The waiting was my exactness. The years that felt long to you felt precise to me. And now the door is on its hinges. This is the dawn, child, the first beam of light to ever cross this exact angle. There has never been a dawn shaped like the one rising through you, and there will never be another one like it again. The light has been chosen for the angle. The angle has been chosen for the light. Both have been waiting for each other since before time had a word for waiting. You are the pioneer, the one who goes first into the territory no one before you has crossed, so that those who come after you have a path to follow, and that is who you are. You are the bridge, the one whose specific configuration of life connects what was separated, joins what could not be joined by any other shape, and carries what could not be carried any other way. And that is who you are. You are the cycle breaker, the one whose unprecedented act ends a generational pattern in your line that no one before you had the configuration to break. And that is who you are. Stay with me here. I want to say this in the plainest possible language, because the next thing I am about to share with you needs to land on solid ground. Here is what has been said in this hour. The reason God is doing the impossible is the specific shape of your one life. Your delay was exactness. What is being formed is unprecedented, and the configuration of your particular years has assembled into a vessel that has never existed before. That is the why. Here is what is required for what is being formed to actually emerge through you. There are two layers in your brain, two specific frequencies that the ancient patterns of your childhood ran on, and that the ordinary stress of adult life has slowly silenced. The first layer is the child mind itself, the frequency of curiosity, openness, and effortless reception that you were born with, and that has been quietly dimming since you were 7 years old. The second layer is the manifestation channel, the frequency that allows what is being given to actually arrive in your life as something you can hold. That second one has been jammed by the constant low hum of survival anxiety that adult living forces on the nervous system. Both layers must be restored. The first one first, the second one second. The order matters. And here is who is on the other side of this restoration. The version of you whose child mind is awake, whose reception is open, whose configuration is fully online. The one who can carry what is being released without it overwhelming her, because the channel is finally clean enough to hold it. That is the where we are. That is what is required. That is who is waiting on the other side of the restoration. What I am about to share with you was developed by two researchers in two separate fields, working in different decades, in different laboratories, who arrived independently at conclusions that turned out to be parts of the same restoration sequence. You were born with both frequencies fully active. Every child is. That is what childhood actually is. Biologically, a state where the brain is producing gamma frequency at intensities adults rarely match, while simultaneously holding alpha state in a way that lets the child receive what is given without overthinking it. Curiosity and reception, both fully online. That is the child of light you used to be. Around the age of 7, the system that researchers call the decline effect begins. Modern schooling, modern stress, modern social conditioning slowly dim the gamma. By the time most adults reach their 30s, the child mind they were born with has been functionally silenced. You will have noticed this. The way wonder used to be effortless and now requires a vacation to access. The way new ideas used to arrive constantly and now feel rare. The way you used to learn things in days that now take months. That is not aging, that is the decline effect. A neuroscientist named Dr. Robert Lake, after 34 years of research at and around institutions, including MIT, Princeton, Harvard, and several other leading research universities, developed a tool that reverses the decline effect through brain entrainment, specifically a binaural audio delivery that reactivates gamma frequency in the listener within a single 7-minute session. The tool is called the Genius Song. It is a digital audio track, 7 minutes long. Listen to once a day through headphones. There is nothing to memorize, nothing to perform. The audio does the work. The child mind that was dimmed begins to wake. and the curiosity, the openness, the reception that you remember from before you were taught to doubt yourself begins to come back online. I want you to hear something honestly. After you secure the Genius Song, there is a stronger, amplified version of the same technology that some of you will eventually encounter. It is called the youthful brain, and many of the chosen ones who walk this path further go on to use it specifically to protect and deepen the child mind that has been restored. You will see it after you receive the original. If your spirit confirms it, follow that pull. If not, the original alone is complete. Do not overthink this part. A teacher long ago said the kingdom of heaven belongs to those who become like little children. Few realized he was describing a frequency. What the Genius Song does is restore the first wave, the reactivation of gamma, the waking of the child mind that has been quietly dimming since you were 7. But the waking of the child within you is only the first wave of the restoration. There is a second wave, and without the second wave, the first one delivers something incomplete. Here is what is true. Once the child mind is awake, the curiosity returns, the wonder returns, the openness returns. Many people experience this and assume the restoration is complete. It is not. The child wakes, but the channel through which the child is meant to receive what was promised to her is still closed. The second layer is the one that has been hijacked by what researchers call the stress signal. It is the constant low-grade beta wave activity that adult survival mode produces. The financial worry that lives in the background of your day, even when you are not actively thinking about money. The tightness in the chest that arrives before you have opened your eyes in the morning. The reaching for what is yours, and somehow never quite arriving at receiving it. A second researcher, named Dr. Stephen Newton, came up through Stanford as a neuroscientist and broke from mainstream institutional research to release work that, for a long time, was not widely shared. His foundation included research at and around Stanford, Boston University, Harvard, and other research institutions. What he mapped was the architecture of the stress signal, how beta hyperactivity in the modern adult overrides alpha state and effectively closes the manifestation channel that allows what is being given to actually arrive in your life as something you can hold. The tool he developed is called the wealth signal. It is also a digital audio track, 5 minutes long, combined with a phrase the original Hindu tradition has used for 3,300 years, what is referred to in the work as the 9-word wealth script that bypasses what researchers call neural rigidity at the frontal thalamus. The audio guides the brain from beta back into alpha, and the script is repeated mentally during the session. The child has woken up. The wealth signal is what allows her to finally receive. The kingdom flows in the way a child receives a gift from her father, without earning it, without flinching, without doubting that it was meant for her. After you secure the wealth signal, there is also a longer, amplified version that some chosen ones go on to use. It is called the Wealth Signal Accelerator, and it amplifies the receiving channel many times faster than the original. You will see it after you have received the original. If your spirit calls it forward, follow that pull. If not, the original is enough. Do not overthink this part. And for those whose path goes furthest, the small portion of chosen ones who walk into the deepest layer of this restoration, there is a combination of both amplified versions used together. The Wealth Signal Accelerator together with the youthful brain. This is the path the deepest walkers tend to find after they have received the originals, and only if their spirit specifically calls them into that depth. The originals alone are complete. The combined amplification is for those whose path requires going further still. I want to address what I know is rising in some of you right now. I have been listening, I have been listening to all of it before. The meditation, the visualization, the manifestation course, the retreat, the book, the healing modality. None of it lasted. Why would this be different? Hear this gently. Everything you have tried before required your brain to change itself from the inside out. That is slow, that is exhausting, that is, for most people, eventually impossible to sustain. What these two tools do is different in mechanism. They apply external frequency calibration through audio that the brain receives passively. You do not have to push your brain into a new state. The audio entrains the brain into the state. And there is a second difference. Every tool you have tried before targeted one frequency, either alpha or relaxation or visualization. None of them targeted both gamma and alpha in the correct order. That sequence, restoration first, reception second, is the gap that no other approach has addressed. For those of you for whom this sounds too good to be true, the data is real. Brain entrainment shows up on EEG measurements. Gamma reactivation has been replicated at MIT and Princeton. Alpha restoration has been mapped at Stanford and Boston University. Together, almost 38,000 chosen ones across both phases have walked this restoration. Less than 5% return for refund. The numbers are not the proof, the data behind them is. The question is not whether to believe it. The question is whether you are willing to look at what is true. For those of you whose hesitation is the cost, I would never disrespect your financial situation. The doors are not the same shape for everyone. Some will need to begin with the first wave only. Some are already standing in a place where the second wave alone fits. Most, for reasons I will name in a moment, will recognize that both belong to them. There is a 90-day window in which any path can be returned with no questions, and the bonuses remain yours, regardless. The risk is not in trying. The risk is in another year passing, while both waves remain dormant. And for the question I know is sitting heaviest in some of you, why two products? Why not one? Hear it carefully. The Genius Song targets gamma. The Wealth Signal targets alpha. They are two different frequencies, two different mechanisms, two different restorations. The Wealth Signal alone will not reach the child mind that has been dimming since you were 7, because adult alpha cannot truly receive what the child mind has not yet woken to want. The Genius Song alone will wake the child, but the channel through which she receives what is hers will still be closed. Restoration first, reception second. That is, the two-wave stack, the sequence-dependent, child mind reversal. A teacher long ago said, "You must become like little children to receive the kingdom." Few realized he was describing a frequency sequence. Child first, reception second. There are 3 doors in front of you. I am going to name all 3, because all 3 are honored. The first path is restoration, for those whose spirit recognizes that the child mind has been silent for too long and who need to begin there. The Genius Song alone, 7 minutes a day. The first wave of restoration, honored entry point, real work, real beginning. The second path is reception. This is a rare path, and I am going to be honest about it. It is for those whose child mind is somehow already alive, perhaps because of a deep, ongoing spiritual practice that kept it intact, but who cannot reach for what is theirs. The Wealth Signal alone, 5 minutes a day. The opening of the channel. A small percentage of chosen ones recognize this is their specific path. The third path is complete restoration. The two-wave stack, the Genius Song, and the Wealth Signal together, in the correct sequence. Child wakes, channel opens. The kingdom that has been waiting begins to flow in. Most of the chosen ones we serve recognize this is the path that matches their actual configuration. Both layers asleep, both layers requiring restoration, both layers compounding when restored together. Restoration and reception do not simply add, they compound. Child mind awoken without channel opened is half a restoration. Channel opened without child mind awoken is a door with nothing to deliver through it. The complete journey is the path most recognize as theirs. The pricing, if it appears, will be visible on the page below. If the page shows pricing, the first two paths each open at a viewer-specific level, and the complete journey is offered without discount because it is not a bundle deal. It is the full restoration journey at its true value. If the page shows no pricing, then 3 doors are simply revealed. Your spirit will know which one. Each day you wait is one more day. The child mind continues to dim, and one more day, the manifestation channel continues to be hijacked by the stress signal. Both compound in the direction of further forgetting. And the version of you, on the other side of this restoration, the configured one, the awoken one, the one ready to carry the unprecedented act, that version is looking back at this moment as the threshold. The first beam crossing the angle, not a sales decision, a recognition decision. There is something important you need to know before any of this is acted on. There are sites and audio products that have copied the names of these tools and offered fakes that contain none of the actual brain entrainment technology, none of the actual frequency calibration, none of the original research. The only place to receive the real genius song and the real wealth signal, with all of the research-backed technology and the 90-day money-back guarantee, is through the doors below this video, in the description, in the pinned comment. Do not search for these on streaming platforms. Do not search for them on commerce sites. The originals are not there. The doors below are the only authentic path. Here is what I am asking. Pause, right now, one breath. Place a hand briefly on your chest, or simply close your eyes for 2 seconds wherever you are, if it is safe to do so. This is not a pricing decision. This is not a marketing moment. This is a recognition. 3 doors are open. Restoration, reception, complete restoration. All 3 are honored. None of them are wrong. Your spirit already knows which one matches the configuration of your one specific life. The doors are below, in the description, in the pinned comment. Step into the one that calls you, in your own time, when your own breath agrees. What has just been said does not end here. It begins here. The last words of this hour are not for selling. They are for sealing. Breathe with me. What has just been said does not need to be carried by your understanding. It is already inside you. Every word of this hour has already been received by the part of you that has been waiting longer than you have been able to remember. That part does not need to think about it. It only needs to settle into the recognition. There is a quiet that comes after a truth this large lands. Let the quiet do its work. The teaching is finished. The selling is finished. What remains is not for the mind. What remains is for the place beneath the mind, where the agreements that shape an entire life are actually made. You came into this hour carrying something specific, not a generic burden, not a stock weight. The particular configuration of unwitnessed years, of unspoken questions, of a self quietly waiting to be recognized as the one being used for the unprecedented act. You came in carrying that. You are not leaving as the one who came in. This is not the end of the message. It is the beginning of you walking it. I want to do something with you now, not theoretical, not metaphor, something I am asking you to actually do, exactly where you are. In your mind, not out loud, not with any movement of your body. If you are driving or lying down, I want you to picture a doorway. It is not a door you have ever walked through. It is a door that has been waiting for the angle of your specific footsteps. The wood of it has the grain of your particular life. The light beneath it is a thin line of dawn, pale gold, barely present, the kind of light that arrives before any voice has named what is happening. You do not need to open the door yet. You only need to see yourself standing in front of it. Notice the height of it. Notice the way it feels to be the one who has finally arrived at it. Notice that there is no one else standing here. This is not a door anyone else can walk through for you. This is not a regular activation. This is a recognition ceremony. Now, in your mind, place your hand on the wood, just your hand. Feel the readiness settle into the bones of your decision, not the bones of your body, the bones of your decision. The place inside you where the choices that shape your life are actually made. Feel the readiness settle there. You do not have to open the door now. You only have to know that it is yours, that it has been built to your shape, that when you are ready, in your own time, in the rhythm your spirit chooses, the opening will not require force. The hinges have been oiled by the years you thought you were waiting in vain. Stay at the door for one more breath. Receive what it is showing you. Now, slowly let the image rest while the recognition stays. The image is finished. The recognition is permanent. I want to give thanks for this hour on behalf of what has been said and what has been received, for the years that were called delay and were exactness instead. Thanks be given for the precision of what looked like waiting, for the tenderness that survived. Thanks be given for the part of you that did not harden, even when hardening would have been easier, for the silent prayers, the unwitnessed faithfulness, the configuration of one life finally arriving at the hour it was made for. Thanks be given for what no one else saw, and for the one who saw all of it. For the teachers from history whose stories were written into sacred memory so that on this exact day you could find yours mirrored in theirs. For Hannah, whose womb learned exactness. For Mary, whose consent shaped a chapter of the world. Thanks be given for the lineage of the unprecedented carriers. For the breath in your body right now. For the room around you, more sacred than it appears. Thanks be given. There is something to release before the declaration is made. You have been carrying a small frame your past placed around your name. It came from a season you did not choose. It told you what you were allowed to want, what you were allowed to ask for, how large the shape of your life was permitted to be. That frame did not belong to you. It belonged to the room you were in when the frame was built. The room is gone. The frame is not yours. Release it now. You do not have to argue with it. You do not have to forgive everyone who placed pieces of it. You only have to set it down. Let it go. Let it go from your shoulders. Let it go from the words you use about yourself when no one is listening. Let it go from the size of what you allow yourself to receive. Let it go from the apologies you have been making for taking up space. It is not yours. You do not have to carry it any further than this hour. What is yours is what you are about to declare. Receive it slowly, one line at a time. Let each one land before the next one is spoken. I receive the hour I was made for, without apology. I receive the configuration of my one life as exact, as intended, as enough. I receive the unprecedented thing being formed in me, without shrinking it to make others comfortable. I receive the assignment of my particular days, with all of its tenderness and all of its weight. I receive the recognition that I am the reason the impossible can finally happen, not in arrogance, but in honest agreement with what is true. I want you to stay in the silence with me now, not for a moment, for longer, long enough for what has been declared to settle into the place where agreements become permanent. Do not move. Do not speak. Only breathe. Hear what the Father is saying in the silence that has been held. Child, of the lineage of unprecedented carriers, what has been formed in you is mine. What is being released through you is mine. The waiting was my exactness. The hour is now. Walk forward without looking back at the small frame. The door is on its hinges. And so, it is sealed. What has been spoken cannot be unspoken. And it is so. What has been received cannot be unreceived. And it is so. What has been recognized cannot be unrecognized. And it is so. The dawn that is rising in you has waited for no one else. The first beam to cross this exact angle was always going to be yours. There has never been a dawn shaped like this one, and there will not be another one like it again. Before you move from this stillness, there is one small thing I am going to ask of you, because what has been said in this hour is not meant to stay between you and your screen. In the comments, simply write the words, "I am the reason." 3 words, not as a performance, as an agreement. Each time another chosen one reads those 3 words underneath this video, the weight of the recognition multiplies. You are placing your name into a quiet record that you understood what was said tonight. If something in this hour confirmed what your spirit already knew, leave a like, not for the algorithm, as a gesture of gratitude that what was carried into your hearing landed where it was meant to land. If you are not yet subscribed to this space, this is the only invitation I will make about it. The work that will be released here is for those who walk a path that does not look like everyone else's path. If that is you, the subscribe button keeps you close to the next message when it arrives. Somewhere in your life there is one specific person. You already know who they are. They have been quietly waiting, the way you were quietly waiting, for someone to recognize what they have been carrying. Send this message to them, not to convert them, to witness them. They will know why you sent it. And the doors that were named earlier, the 3 paths of restoration, are below this video, in the description, in the pinned comment. The genius song for those whose path begins with the waking of the child mind. The wealth signal for the rare ones whose path begins with the opening of the channel, and the complete restoration for those whose configuration recognizes that both belong to them. Step into the one that calls you, in your own time, when your spirit agrees. There is no rush. The doors will be there when you are ready. What has been given in this hour is yours, now and from this moment forward. No one can take it from you. No one can argue you out of it. The recognition has been placed. Go gently. Walk slowly into the rest of this day, or the rest of this night, or whatever hour you are inside of, when this voice ends. The dawn that is rising in you has waited for no one else. You are the reason.